You know, the very first year of the Smith Prize was the 29th year. It used to be called the Editor's Prize. For the first 28 years, we published a number of early pieces and first pieces by writers.
I think McFarlane in this story is very good with an economy of detail.
There's also the dramatic irony that Mr. Ronald doesn't know that Sarah is the one who hit him with the car, and so we're waiting for either the revelation that Sarah has hit Mr. Ronald with the car or his death. You know, David is off running to try to find help. We've got that happening as well.
She seizes on details and uses them quite expertly to sketch a setting. And you notice the really deft use of sound too.
It's sort of terrifying, but at the same time there's this very funny conversation happening between Mr. Ronald and what's her name? Sarah.
By now it was 4 p.m, and the June town was keeping quiet. The scent of the roses in the college gardens increased, and the black East Anglian bees responded, hanging lazily above the scent. The lawns maintained their perfect green. The river was laid out straight like a track for trains. David and Sarah and Claire and Peter walked along it to find another pub.
This essay to me has really two, I would almost say, theses. One is that a prison is not a place that's isolated from the rest of society. But throughout the essay, he shows us that prisons are very connected to that most people who are prison inmates are going to be released, and at some point they're going to re-enter society.
Pick at random from the nearly 5,000 institutions that make up the U.S. prison system, and you will be hard-pressed to discover any underlying principle of order or coherence. Scattered across the American landscape are huge, hulking fortresses and tiny, compact jails, prisons of unthinkable cruelty and violence, and prisons that offer inmates classes in cooking and horticulture. Prisons in which the inmates eat their meals in common, and prisons in which the inmates never leave their cells. Prisons that hold the most hardened criminals in the world, and prisons that hold the drug addict who stole $83 from the corner store last January.
Formally and on the page, what we have in that poem are longer lines that really do good work in terms of capturing moments from around the world where she's collected these different articles, or where the speaker of the poem has collected these different articles and brought them back and brought them into one place. In the tactile kleptomaniac, she hones in on one image towards the end. That's by the end of the poem. She goes way back, millions of years in kind of like interstellar, like atomic time. That speaks of a confidence in the use of the image and the travel down the page that I think is indicative of how strong she's growing as a poet.
Then suitcase wheels turned down Wolf-Dietrich-Strasse. Bicycle wheels flashed below a girl. She stands to pedal.